The woke right. What's up, everybody? It's Keisha King, host of the Keisha King Show. Welcome back to my channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. So, the woke right. Okay, so there is like all this stuff going on Twitter about the woke right. And I think a friend of mine, James Lindsay, started this phrase woke right when he noticed, along with others, people on the right becoming like the left, saying things like the left. But the problem is those who are on the quote unquote woke right, they don't realize what they're doing. I'm going to try to help break this down, hopefully, to help those understand what it is and to keep you from doing it. So, so you don't get lumped in with the woke right. So, the what James, I believe, is saying is when you start doing what the left does, even if it's on a different topic, it's still poison from the critical race theory, gender theory, all these communist, socialist, woke. It's still woke. Let me explain. If I said, I don't want you to label my child an oppressor because they happen to be white, most people on the right would agree with that. If I said, I don't want to label my child oppressed because they're black, most people would agree with that. The idea is you're lumping people into these categories and assigning a status to that group based on some or a few or what you perceive as the label that should go on that group. Case in point, here is how it's done on the right. Oh, look, there's, the Jews own Hollywood. The Jews are oppressors. The Jews are the elite. The Jews are running everything. They are the evil ones. That is the same thing as saying, oh, if you're black, you're oppressed. If you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're Jewish, you are a controller of society. You see what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying here? This is what we're seeing on the right. Oh, we're white, so we're oppressed now. We are being put upon. And so you're not seeing people call for changes in um, the system, the legal system, like we saw after slavery, where we got affirmative action, DEI. What should have happened is no one should have gotten special treatment. That's the idea. No one gets special treatment. Not you try to reverse uno the special treatment to another group of people. You don't that's not how you get rid of evil. You don't get rid of evil by doing evil. You don't get rid of racism by now becoming racist. You don't stop creating this oppressor and oppressed group by just finding another group to become the oppressors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you find yourself doing this group collective think, you are participating in wokeness. Okay, you are participating in the same idea. And probably, I would guess, the reason why this is so hard for Americans on the right to kind of parse out is because we have been so inundated with these kinds of ideas from grade school, because this stuff is all over the schools and it's been in the schools long before 2020, long before Barack Obama. Okay, these things have been permeating in American society for a long time, taking a group, assigning a status to it, and saying that's what that group is. So I've heard this thing like, oh, the right didn't have a problem when we were talking about black on black crime, but now they got a problem because we're talking about the Jews. No, we have a problem because you're doing the same thing that the left did with black people, that you're doing that same thing with Jewish people. That is the problem. Not that if you want to call out instances, if you want to call out specific people doing specific things, go for it. But to lump everyone in with the group, that's when we start having issues. That's when you're still doing the same thing. So I'll explain it in a biblical way. So God gives us, he uses analogies as seeds, right? You plant a seed, that seed is going to reproduce after its own kind. Okay, you had the seed of racism, the seed of white supremacy, all these types of things. And then a response in the 60s was, oh, let's give Black people some, let's give them a leg up. That was not the correct response, because just because an injustice and an evil was done, you don't correct that thing. The fruit of those ideas is more of that thing, because it's going to reproduce after its own kind. Does that make sense? So if you sow the seed of racism or white supremacy, one group being above or beneath another, on the opposite end, when you do that, even if you are on the right and you're applying it to another group, you're still doing it. It's reproducing after its own kind. You have to stop doing that. The only way to drive out evil is to um, bring in righteousness, goodness, love. You don't drive out evil by doing more evil. That's not how this works. Okay. I hope that makes sense. The last point I want to make is about immigration. Okay, so now we have Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, where they said some pretty well, Vivek in particular said some concerning things about immigration. Now, this is what Vivek Ramaswamy said. It's a little bit of a long read, but I'm going to read it for you and then give my opinion, and you let me know what you think in the comments below. He says the reason top tech companies often hire foreign born and first generation engineers over, quote, native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympian champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competition, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at, quote, those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view such, quote, those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grew up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now. Who raised their kids according to one model versus the other? Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practice into existence. I'm confident we can do it. That's his, that's what he said. Here is my issue with what he said and this whole we need more illegals for elite engineers and elite tech talent. The problem with this is that the legals that we have here, who we have brought over many times, have not been rightly acclimated to American culture. How do we know that? We can look at the institutions. We can look at the academic institutions and we see what they are producing. These ideas did not come from Americans. The reason why these ideas exist in America now is from foreign people bringing these ideas to the universities long time ago, long before, this was in the 20s we're talking here, okay? So this has been a long time in the making. But because we did not pay attention to what these new ideas were doing, and the teachers that were bringing these things in, is why we are in trouble. My thing is, sure, we can have foreigners come over and do good work here in America. We've seen it, we've done it. But we've just had like 20 million illegals come over here. America, in my opinion, is suffering from a little bit of PTSD. We're kind of still traumatized by all of this illegal immigration. So we don't really want to hear you talking all that illegal. We kind of need to just reset for a moment. Give Americans a moment, Vivek. Elon, give us a minute, because we're seeing illegals. We know that they are, we know that they're illegal. We're seeing what they're doing to what they have done to our country. Now, I know that these are not the same type of people that you're talking about, but for Americans, give us a minute. We're not saying we don't want it. We're just like, whoa. Maybe we need to pump the brakes a little bit, because we got a lot of people here right now. Maybe let's sift through the ones that we got here and see if we can find some elite talent with what we already got. Maybe we could sift through I think we just, as an American, I think we're still a little bit traumatized by what has happened to us over the last 4 years. That's probably why people have a problem with these, talking about these H1, HB1, or whatever, the visas. I think that's it. It's not that we don't want them. We just kind of want to pause right now and kind of clean our own house. What I didn't hear mentioned in Vivek's post there was God. That was a big part of American institutions. God was a big part of America's founding. God was a big part of society. When we were great, there was one thing that he forgot to mention. It was God. So we can bring in all of this stuff, but if we don't have a fundamental thing that we agree upon, that might be a problem. Well, everyone, that is it for today. Let me know, what do you think about what I think? What do you think about this whole immigration thing? What do you think about this whole woke right thing? What do you think about this entire topic? Let me know in the comment section below. And I see you out there. For those who have not subscribed but are watching the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.